Alright, in this video we are going to see how to create user login logs plugin. So what it does, it simply creates the database of who has logged in at what time, and if the login fails, it also stores that value as who has tried to log in. Now if I try to log in with some random name, it won't let you log in first, and these data would be stored in the database as a custom table, and that data can be viewed on this page. If you click on login logs, recently adc.com tried to log in and the status is failed. Now if I try to log in with the valid username, let me say UI monk, it will allow me to log in, and again that data is also stored in the login logs. So logs is nothing but will give you the information of who has logged in recently and who has tried to log in and failed. Now what are the things that we are going to see in this video? We are going to see how to create a custom table. You can see this table is created custom, and the second thing is we will be seeing how to create a dashboard menu. You see the login logs. If I click on it, you will see the login logs in the form of table, and then we have logged in, how to segregate who has logged in and who has failed to log in. We'll use a hook called logged wp-log login and wp-paid log or failed login. Now again, as a fourth feature, we will see how to create this table with pagination. You can see once it reaches more than 3 value, you can see it in the next page. The data in the next, you can see the data in the next page. So this is the new feature that we have covered in this video as an add-on to the previous one. So we can see this plugin as user login history. So let's start coding. First of all, let's just uninstall the plugin so that we don't get plugin conflict. The very first thing that we need to do is we need to create a folder in the plugin folder. Now I'm in my current WordPress folder, and you have to navigate to WP content, then plugin, then let's just create a new folder called login history. So this is going to be the folder name, and since it's WordPress, we need to follow a naming convention. Whatever name you gave over here as a folder name, that should be your file name too. Now this isn't enough to view your folder, to view your plugin here. We need to add a comment so that WordPress knows what this plugin is about. Now we are giving the plugin name, we are giving the description, we are giving the version to the WordPress, and we are giving the author name. So this is enough to see your plugin on this particular page. Now you will see a plugin called login history. Now once I click on activate, I want to create a table over here. So we'll be using register activation hook. So over here the register action hook will trigger a function. So that function will create database. So to create database, first and foremost thing, we need to know what is the prefix. So you can see by default there is a prefix called wp-p, and we need to follow the naming convention, and then we have what character set it uses. We need to get that character set as well. So to get those value, WordPress offers a global variable which is wpdb. So let's call that. So this is the global variable wpdb. With this we can set our table name with prefixes, and then we can have our character set called. So this is a table name variable. We are asking for the WordPress wpdb, what is the prefix, and then we can say user history. This is going to be the table name, and we got the character set. Now with this we need to run an SQL query that will simply create a column called ID, user ID, and we have username, we have IP address, and we have status, whether it's failed or success, and then we have login time, and we're setting the ID as a primary key, and we have passed the character set. Now to run the custom query that would create a custom table, WordPress offers a function called delta-db. So to call delta-db, you need to call the location of the file first, the location of the function first. So we have called the location, which is in WP admin includes and upgrade.php. This is a function that that will help you create the custom table. If it's inbuilt table, we will be using WP hyphen query. Since it's custom table, then it's recommended to use dbDelta. Now once this is done, if your plugin is active, you will see a table created. Let me just activate this, and if it's activated and if you refresh this page, you should see one more on this database. We have named it as user history. If I click on user history, it is going to be blank now. Now we need to save the logged in users details. So for that we need to use a hook, which is WP login. So this is a WP login, and this is a relevant function that would get called, and we are setting the priority as 10, and we are saying that we just need two variable from this for this function. So this function will have an argument of 2. So I'll show you what it is. So you would be needing who has logged in, the name, and then the user. So this user is similar to the global variable which we have seen. This global object is WPDB, and this is WP user. We'll get WP users data. You'll see a table called WP-user. These data along with WP user meta. These two data can be accessed by this variable as an argument that we are passing for the WP login hook. Now to insert, we just need to call the global object first, and then we need to write the insert code. For inserting, if your website is live, we need to store our IP address as well. So to get the IP address, this is the PHP code that will help you get the IP address, and let's just store this into a column on the table. So with this WPDB, we are passing the table as a first argument, and for the second argument we are passing the user ID, which we get it with the help of user global variable, and then the login name, and then we have address, which we get with the PHP code, and then we have the status success. If it's logged in success, then with this we'll be getting the current time. Now once this is done, if someone tries to log in, this data should get inserted. Now let's try logging in. I think we should log out first. Log out. Then let me just try with the UI wonk, and if it will allow you to log in, and let's just see whether it's inserted or yes, you can see the value got inserted. Now let me just log out again, and now let's write code for the which is failed login. So it's similar to this hook. We have WP fail login hook. Let's call that. It's actually similar function that we are going to use. Let's just call that. So instead of user, we'll be just having the username. So this is going to be similar. We'll be storing the IP address, we'll be calling the global object, and then we'll be using the insert option. Call this, and in place of user ID is going to be null. User ID is going to be null, and we'll be passing the username, we'll be passing the IP address, and the status is false, spelled, and then the time. So let's try logging in with different abc.com, and let's just click on login. It will not allow you to log in since there is no user named abc.com, and once you get the error, you should see the value that would be get inserted here. Yes, we got the error, and let's just refresh this, and it still be failed. Yes, success and failure is I am able to see that. Now we are going to create a page on the dashboard. So to create a page on the dashboard, we need to call a hook first, which is WP menu, and this is a relevant function that would get called, and in this we'll be using a function called add menu. So we have seen this many times. This is the page title, this is the text box title. Let's just have this login history, and then we have the capability. We are giving the capability to manage options, and this is the slug for the page, which is nothing but the URL. This is the function that would get called when you click on this menu, and this is the icon that would get called, that would get displayed on the sidebar. Let's just call the function so that we can see function. we just missed the parenthesis. If I refresh, you should see on the sidebar login history. If I click on it, it is going to be blank. So to initialize, we need to create a class first, which would extend the WP list table. So just like we have used delta db, we need to show WordPress that where this function is defined. So first we are checking if the class is not exist, then only add this file, or else don't add it. Now we need to create the object for this class, and as we create the object, there would be a function called prepare item that we need to call, and then the display function. So these functions will be defined on this class. We would be overriding it on this class, our custom class. So for the first thing, what we need to do is we need to set the constructor for this class. So we will be naming the table as log, in the plural form is logs, and we are saying there is no ajax here. And now we need to define the fields, column fields. So again, this class will provide a function called get column, and with the get column we are able to define our column name. So this get column function from this class will give a associative array. So these are the column name on the table, and this is our relevant user defined table name. So now we need to define the prepare item function that will display. First it will fetch all the data from the table. Second, it will allow you to add the custom added header, and the third thing is it will allow you to add the pagination. So let's just do that. Now first let's just fetch all the values from the table, and also we need to define one more thing, which is pagination. So to call the pagination function, we need to first define how many rows are there. So to get the total number of rows, we need to run a query. So the total number of rows can be achieved by this get vars, and we are getting the count. So first we get the total number of rows in the table, and the second thing, how many rows should be displayed on the particular page for pagination. So I am saying I just need 3 per page, 3 row per page, and then we need to get the current positions pagination. If suppose there are 4 buttons for pagination, 1 2 3 4, and I need to know I am in which page, either it's 1, either it's 2, either it's 3, either it's 4. So that can be achieved with the help of the function which the class provides, get page name. And now we need to give the details about the pagination, total item, which is we get from this query, and per page I need 3 item, and the total pages. So total pages, if suppose we have 20, if suppose we have 20 rows, and we are going to display 2 per page. If I divide this, so there would be 10 total pages. So 10 pages which will have 2 rows, that's what it means. And now we need to fetch the data from the table. So for that, let's just first define the column first. So this class will give you a variable which is column header, which we have assigned our custom header, and this is for the hidden value. If there is any hidden value, no, there is no hidden value. If are you going to sort this table? No, I am not going to sort, so I am passing the blank arrays. Now after that, it should be inside the function. So to understand this query, we just need to understand what is limit and what is offset. I want to display the data, so for that I am running a query. It will give an associative array, and select star from table, order by login time, descending, and for this d this is post per page, and for this d it's the current page. This I'll just explain you what it is. I'm just saying I just need only 3 values. I just need only 3 values, and starting from the number. If suppose we have 30 rows and per page we have 3. So likewise we will have 10 pages. We have 10 pages now, and each page has 3 values. So if suppose I am in the 5th page, and what data should I display? So for that I am saying I just need 3 values, and starting from current page I'll be getting the current page as 5. 5 minus 1, which is 4, into 3. 5 3s are 15. So from 15 it will start. From 15, 15, 16, 17. So these 3 values will be displayed on a particular page. So that's the reason we are using this limit and offset. I hope I have made this clear. If it's not clear, then I would recommend you to learn what is limit and offset, and then you will easily understand what this query is all about. Now if everything goes right, we have created the prepare item, we have set the pagination, we have set the column header, we have set the items. Now we need to modify the column so that we can display success in green, and if it's failure then it should be red. So for that, this again class gives you a function called column default. Let's call that. So with this column default, this is actually row. We can make this row, and this is actually the column name. So if the column name is status, then change the data to success for this particular column. Again, if it is not success, then add a span tag, and then change the color to background color to red, and change the color to black, and display the text fail. And that's it, I believe. If everything goes well, we should see the table getting populated with. So I think I have not changed the table name, which is user history. Refresh this. Yes, only 2 is there. Now let's try to log in with another name, x.com. It will not allow you to log in because there is no user called x.com, and that data should get displayed. And let's try one more thing, y.com, to see the pagination in action. If it is more than 3 values, we should see a pagination. Yep, pagination works. Now if I try to log in with some UIMonk, and again UIMonk, click on login. Since it's descending and it is starting from the date, the current logged in time, it's not the system based. Now you will see it's the status success. Now if I try to log out and try the wrong name, some wrong name, that data will also be displayed in the table. Yes, you can see, and the pagination also works. So that's all for today. Meet you in another WordPress plugin tutorial, hopefully tomorrow. Thank you so much for listening.